We're back. Segment 2, the journey of an angel investor from a woman's perspective. Very proud to have Sahara Alexis in the studio today. This is our 6th month of taping content-driven data, information, fun, frivolity of being an angel investor. And the journey starts right here. And this is National Women's Month here in March 2016 in Silicon Valley, where we're taping this. So let's start about your first investment. And tell us the range, Sahara, that you've looked at, and how many investments have you made as an angel investor?
My initial investment was $10,000, which was a big deal at the time and where I was in my life, because I had other investments. And then over a period of time, I ranged from $5,000 up to $50,000. And I'm also a part of the Capital Fund to help with diversification of my overall portfolio, which is important as an angel investor, right? You can't just gamble on one and think you're going to get everything. You have to diversify across.
Well, this is not an info commercial, but Keiretsu Capital Fund, you alluded to, is a top-off fund that we're investing in great angel companies, not just Keiretsu Forum, but other angel groups. 90% of the deal flow has come from Keiretsu Forum, but we also invest in other angel groups, and we want to spread that out throughout the United States. The fund has already made over 30 investments. So, so how do you help these companies, number one? And number two, when you expect liquidity when you make an angel investment?
When should I expect it overall?
Yeah, when do you expect it, and when do you receive it?
Right. So as I said, it's a journey. So on my compass, I think investments will come out or start to be harvested like in years 5, 6, 7 in most cases. I haven't had my own liquidity event yet, but in the next couple of years, I'm due to get a shakeout of what that may or may not be. In terms of engaging with these companies, I've done different roles for different companies I've invested in. I'm an advisor to 2. I'm a sounding board more so for some other ones. And in other cases, I am active in terms of knowing and learning more about the company and where they are in their overall process. But in essence, I'm not as engaged as in some of my other ones. Now,
we term Keiretsu Forum knowledge-based because we have 2,500 members, but locally in regions like Northern California, we'll have anywhere 50, 100 members each chapter. How do you select, or how do you pull in that great mind share or knowledge to help you be a better investor or help the companies you invest in?
Well, it's funny, as the way that I look at angel investing, right? It's not just about the individual. It's really about the mind share, as you spoke about it. And one of the things that I found here in the Valley is that the more connections you have, the better your deal offerings are, and your understanding for that, as well as being able to connect the relationships, right? Most companies just don't know what they don't know. And so what I feel I'm able to do, especially being from here, is to be able to make those connections in little ways and not try to be everything to the entrepreneur, right? A lot of cases, there's other people who may do things better than I do, and putting them in the right context for them so that they can take advantage of that.
It's fascinating, and you're about to ask a question, but I'm going to interrupt for 1 second. It's fascinating when I give a resource to an entrepreneur at a forum meeting in front of 100 people. So let me introduce you someone at AT&T, or let me introduce you to someone at Google, or let's help you here. And if they don't follow up, I know that's a company I will not invest in, because they don't follow up with a great resource. And if they're not receiving that knowledge, then they may not be a successful company in the future.
Right. So I would ask you to add on to that. You know, what other things do you look at from an angel investor perspective that's important about the company that you want to invest in?
Well, one of my validation points is capital. So I want to see who's in the deal. I want to see if she or he, as a CEO or jockey, what type of success they've had in the past. It's okay if they haven't had a startup before, but if they had, so are they trailing those investors, those investors in this deal? For instance, we had a presentation today, and one of the questions, they're finishing off a $30 million round, of which they've done $24 million, and we're going to top off, big top off of $6 million. We'll probably participate in it. But they said 90% of their past investors over the last 10 years are in this fund. That's a big validation point. So the jockey's critical, capital is critical, obviously has a big market. They have to receive knowledge. They have to be humble, but they have to also be brash too. But I also notice when a CEO has a problem and won't articulate it to his investors or hiding it, and the problem becomes insurmountable, or maybe it goes BK or bankrupt, or there's so many ways we can help. But you have to have the heart and the heart of a lion to say, I need help. A lot of companies do that. And before I invest, I want to make sure they will reach out to us and say, I have a problem, help me.
Right. That's very important. So you take mind share, right? You take the characteristics of the entrepreneur and the jockey, right? And the opportunity set there. How do you tie all that together into the angel investment community, right? What makes a great angel investment group? Well,
I started Keiretsu Forum because of my lack of discipline and expertise back 18, 19 years ago. Before I started Keiretsu, I got ahead of my skis a lot because I love entrepreneurs. I mean, just yesterday, I was in a car with an entrepreneur who was hitting on me for $100,000, and I said, listen, I don't get ahead of my skis anymore. It's got to go through the disciplined approach of Keiretsu Forum, the whole process before I pull the trigger. And, you know, I mean, they're always trying to cut you away from the herd. Angel investors out there, if you're listening to this, don't be cut away from the herd. Be part of a group. You can make your own individual decisions. You can have your own capital at work, but enjoy the mindshare or swarm intelligence of a community. What turns me on at Keiretsu Forum is when the mindshare is invoked and everybody starts talking about it without a vested interest. So we might talk about a company. We're a gracious Shark Tank. We're not putting down, we never use the negative word. It's not negative. We talk about the challenges, we're critiquing the company. We talk positive first. But it's cool when that emerges. And after 16 years, as you may know, I've never missed a deal screening. This is my 16th year. I've missed one forum, and I've never been sick at Keiretsu, fortunately, knock on wood, last 6 years. I just love the engagement of smarter people than me. That's why I started Keiretsu. I needed smarter people, and as such, probably my returns, and I'm exceeding over 30% IRR, my highest return deals are when I'm drafting off smarter people than me.
Right. Well, I think that made it easier for me as a woman investor to come in to see the level of discipline, right? I think sometimes you can have a group and everybody has their own style, right? But this is more of a collective,
right?
Not decision making, but opportunity to learn more about the entrepreneur, the company, and the overall risk that's involved.
Right, and we have a lot of wonderful angel groups around, and you know we're all unique and different. And some enjoy, social, like dinners to hear presentations, and I think that's wonderful. We're deadly serious about funding companies, so we are legally facilitator. When an entrepreneur comes to us, if they get dollars, we're a membership community. 100% of the dollars goes back to the entrepreneur. So we're deadly serious making investments, but we're not passive. We want to be strategic. And so getting back to strategic or smart, how do you see the members helping? You see our members?
Every week I'm engaged in something about an entrepreneur asking or requiring help from one of us, or someone's calling me or saying, Sahara, is it possible that you can lend a hand and make an introduction? And I think the Valley itself, which is great, is that there's a lot of angel investors that are out there, right? And I think over the last 20 years, I've seen the community get tighter in terms of the collaboration between the different groups, encouraging others to get involved. And I think that's what makes the Silicon Valley what it is.
Yeah, this is not a competitive arena. This is about everybody helping each other. We're being careful, obviously, when entrepreneurs approach us, but we want great collaboration in this ecosystem, and that's why it's special for me. That's why it's more exciting for me today than it was yesterday, the day before, or 16 years ago. It just keeps getting better because we have great gratitude for the entrepreneurs, have these great ideas that bring it to us. I learned something. I think you learned something. And then hopefully we invest in the dream. But usually, getting back to the dream, our validator usually is capital, i.e., revenue. Generally, companies come to us, we like to see they've already landed recurring revenue, i.e., customers. Is that a big deal for you?
It depends. Professionally speaking, I look at companies who may not have the traction because the market's not ready yet.
So you like early. You like seed? You like going earlier?
In certain cases, I do. Sometimes it ties directly into my my position and what it is that I'm doing, and then so I have a bias towards that. But in other cases, I do want to see that they've gone through the process, right? Because I think once an entrepreneur goes through the process, they have a better appreciation of the money that they're receiving. That is just not, you know, somebody else's money that they're spending, right? So I think it's very important for the processes to happen overall. Even if I look at early seed, I think my due diligence is stronger. And I will work hand in hand with that organization or company to say, we need to really understand this. I want you to understand your sweet spot, what kind of impact you think you can have, what ownership of that marketplace do you think you're projected to do, and how are you going to sustain yourself in year 3, 5, and further on.
Do you get fooled very much?
No, I actually don't. I am very diligent and consistent in terms of what indicators I need to look at. And I also follow my gut. I think a lot of times people are like, oh no, I'm going to go this way, but your gut is really good in certain instances. I've had a situation occur that the entrepreneur was great, very sales and marketing focused. And then when I drilled down on a few things, certain things didn't pan out.
Right.
I gave a second chance, and that didn't happen. So,
well, let me. I always think it's just a little disingenuous in VCs or angel. Always talk about their wins. So I will talk about a loss right here.
Okay.
And I did it before Keiretsu Forum 17 years ago. I invested in a great company. I love ed tech. It was an educational-based company. The CEO said, "Hey, we're really growing," and also there's an exit. There's a great exit. The founders did well, but he said to me, he says, I want to get out of the way and really bring in a better CEO to really scale the company. Well, during that time, he navigated his sale. Fine, he did well. But if we had grown even further, the angels would have done much better. So even till today, I worry definitely about valuations. Sometimes valuations are way too high, so angels get wiped out.
Yes.
Number two, is the founder and the board and the angels all have to be aligned with a vision. And so, in fact, we had a company today, you know, they had an offer under 30 million. Well, the angels wouldn't done great, but he knows that. He wants to wait for an exit 50, 60 million. And, you know, there was applause in the room. And so, it's a very
delicate balance. That's definitely a delicate balance.
Yes. And so, do you want more women at Keiretsu Forum?
I do.
Great.
I definitely do. I want more diversity across the board.
Right.
I think the more diverse your groups are, the better benefits and yields that we can do.
Absolutely.
As angel investors.
That's the swarm intelligence I love, Sahara. So thank you so much for being a guest today. And look forward to seeing you at the next Keiretsu Forum meeting, which we have them all the time, but the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Randy.